Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to get out of debt. And listen, folks, this is Wednesday, September 13, and we are in Clubhouse. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. Well, yeah, I guess Twitter's called X now, but listen, did you guys switch over to X? Or are you still calling it Twitter? All right, but I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But I'm still calling it Twitter. But anyway, good morning to everybody. Let's start by saying good morning in the chat and where you're from. And if you have a question, if you're in Clubhouse, come to the stage. All right. So good morning to everybody. We'll start with that. Good morning, a little sunshine. All right. So tell us, good morning and where are you from? I'm right here in Huntsville, Alabama. So good morning to you. Where are you from? Put it in the chat. And if you're watching us online, go ahead and put it in the comment section, who you are and where you're from. Good morning to you guys. All right. So if you are wondering about this title, your mortgage is not just one mortgage. It's 360 separate mortgages, and you can choose to pay all 360. Or you can pay fewer than 360 times. We're going to talk about that today because there's a controversy going on right now. Should I prepay my mortgage and save interest, or should I take that money and invest that money and then take the money I make from my investments and pay off the mortgage? There's a great controversy going on right now, but when we take a look at that money and when you prepay, let's say you have a mortgage like this gentleman I heard in Business Over Breakfast yesterday. He has a mortgage that's 7.75%. And he says, I didn't make the deal based on the interest rate. I made the deal based on the fact that I'm cash flowing over $4,000 a month. Okay. Even with a 7.75 interest rate, he's cash flowing over $4,000 a month. So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, well, he's doing that, but let's take a look at what he's paying in interest on those loans. And so we can take a look and see how all of that comes together. So if you want to see what we're doing, you want to go to YouTube so you can see these examples. If you can't, I'm going to go over these examples step by step by using an amortization calculator. And the name is brettwhistle.net. brettwhistle.net. We're going to put that in the chat so you can pull these up and do them alongside me. brettwhistle.net is a good teaching tool. Brett Whistle, WHISSEL, brettwhistle.net. All right, let me get that in the chat. There we are. Okay, brettwhistle.net is where you can get the amortization schedule that I'm going to use. The reason why I use that is because if you can't see how much interest you're paying at any given time, it's harder for you to understand these concepts. And when somebody says, why pay off a 7% loan when you can invest that money at 10% or 12%, or maybe they're a successful real estate entrepreneur. And they said, well, you know what? I'm getting 20% cash on cash return. Why would I pay off a 7% loan when I can put that money into an investment and make 15 or 20%, which is a very good question. It is a very good question. But what people are not understanding is that when you amortize a loan, it does something to it. And you're saying, well, you're borrowing the money at 7.75%. So anything that you prepay, you can only save 7% on that. It's only making you 7%. Well, I think I want to disagree with that, and I'm going to show you why today. I'm going to show you why today. So we're going to take a look at the screen on, let me see here. We're going to put that up on the screen. We're going to change our outlook here. We're going to remove this camera. All right, and change our outlook so that you can see what's going on when we put the example on the screen. All right, so let me see here. There we are. And so we're going to, well, I guess we could use this one. We're going to use this one, and then we're going to share this screen. There we are. Boom. All right. And we're going to bring this camera back. All right, good. So now you got my front facing camera, got my rear facing camera, and you've got an amortization schedule. So I put in a small mortgage of $200,000. So if you're at Brett Whistle, you want to put in where the principal amount is, put in $200,000 at 7.75%, 360 months. And then you put a check mark where it says show amortization schedule. When you do that, you'll get $1,432.82. Now, the gentleman I heard yesterday didn't tell me how much his mortgage was, but I thought I would use a small mortgage because the savings are even more pronounced if you have a larger mortgage. Okay. So now this is what he's doing. Every month he's paying, he's renting out whatever building he's renting out, but he's making over $4,000 a month profit on that. So he's cash flowing over over $4,000 a month. Okay. That's like what, $144,000 a year. Okay. I'm sorry, that's not 144. Hold on. Let me see here. 4,000 a month. I never said I was a math person. Times 12, okay, equals, all right, 48. Okay, 48,000 a year. 48,000 a year we're doing on that, okay? 48 grand a year. So that's what he's bringing in. But also, let me show you what's happening. When he's paying this mortgage, and just this small mortgage, in 1 year, he's paid the loan down by on a $200,000 mortgage. You've paid it down by $1,755.31. But look how much money went to interest, $15,000. So because I have Asperger's, I look at this and say, what am I doing? All right. Each month, I'm buying back my equity from the bank. I'm giving them $141.15. That's the very first payment. $141.15 out of my payment goes to principal. $1,291.67 goes to interest. So when I'm looking at this, my brain says I'm purchasing my equity back at $140 a month, but I'm paying $1,200 a month interest to purchase it. So I'm not a math person. I have what some people refer to as ASD, or autism spectrum disorder. So math was never my strong suit. My strong suit was looking at things and seeing the patterns, figuring out puzzles. That's how my mind works. So when I look at this, I said, well, what's the puzzle going on here? All right. So let me show you what I mean by it's 360 separate mortgages. Okay. So I'm going to put a calculator on the screen, and the very first payment on $200,000, this is how the bank does it. Okay. They take you take your interest rate, 7.75, you divide that by 12. Okay. And this is the number that you get, 0.6458 and a bunch of threes. Okay. That's what you get. They take that number and then multiply it by the balance, and you owe $200,000. So we're going to multiply that by 200,000. Okay. 200,000 equals, wait a second here. Yeah. Okay. I put 2 million. Sorry. All right. Let's see here. We're going to do that again. 7.75 divided by 12. All right. And then multiply it by 200,000. All right. Equals, all right, 12. Let's see. What's going on here? What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. Okay. 200. Okay. 200. 1, 2, 3. That's 200,000. Maybe I'm not clearing it out. Okay. 7 point. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I'm saying, I'm not a math person. So let's start over. Okay, this is take two. Okay, I didn't put in 7.75%. Okay, so it's 7.75% is 0.0775. I didn't put it in as a decimal. Oh my gosh, I know somebody was screaming at me and says says Andy wants to know what screen are you showing. Andy, you want to go to YouTube, so let me get the link for you. If you want to see the screen, you want to see it on YouTube. You can listen to me on Clubhouse, but you want to go to YouTube and search P.I.L.L method, and then you'll able to see the live. Okay, because we're live right now on YouTube. So let me also go here, put up a new window. We're going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to get the link for you guys. All right, for my live today. And there it is. And let me see. Let me get the link. Okay, copy the link. And we're going to put that in the chat as well. Paste. All right. Okay, why isn't it? Let's see. Copy link. And let me see if I can paste the link here. It's not pasting. Let me do this. All right. Copy the link. So you guys can see it and share. All right, so we're going to share. Copy. All right, there we go. All right, and let's see if we can paste now. There it is. All right, we'll put that over there. So if you want to see what we're doing, go to that link. All right, and you'll be able to see it. I'm also going to put my information at the top of the screen. Let's see, pin the link. All right, nice. 10k.com. There we go. That's at the top of the screen. So here's where we are. We're at, let me pull that calculator back up. All right. We're at 0.0775, which is 7.75%. We divide that by 12. Okay. And this is the number we get, 0.00645, and a bunch of threes and on and on and on. So now we take that and we multiply it by 200,000. Okay. Equals $1,291.60.666. So they round that up to 0.67. 1,291.67. And if we scroll down, that's exactly what we see as the first interest payment. That's how it's done. So now, if you understand what the investors are saying, says Don, that is actually 7.75. If you take a look at $200,000 and you multiply it by 7.75, and then you take that number and then divide it by 12, That's what you get. So it's 7.75%. So if I take that 7.75% and if I take a look at cumulative interest here, look at cumulative interest on the line. All right. That is the fourth column. It is $15,438.53. If I take my 7.75% interest rate and multiply it by 200,000, I will get slightly more than 15,438.53. The reason why this number is smaller is because we're taking chunks out of the principal each month. $141, $142. So if we take our 7.75%, 0.0775, and multiply that by 200,000, okay, this is what we get. $15,500. So slightly more than the 15,438.53 here. And that's what they're saying. So Don, if I'm actually getting 7.75%, okay, when I multiply this and then I divide it by 12 and then I get the first interest payment, then why is it that if I prepay a certain amount, I'm not saving that $5,000 or $2,000 or $1,000 extra I'm putting on? Why is that not just at 7.75%? I'm making 7.75% on that money when I prepay. And I read an article on Yahoo Finance that says the same thing. Anything you prepay, you're only earning 7.75% on that. So I need you all to take a look at this and see what really happens when you prepay. So on this loan, let's take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Now, in my program, the program will actually figure out how much money you should pay at what intervals. But I'm just picking out a number. This is a pure example of what happens when you do prepay and how to figure out what your results really are when you prepay. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And this is the way my brain looks at it. Let's go 36 months in. I'm 36 months into this loan. And if I do what the investors are telling me, he says, Don, take any extra money you have and put it into an investment. Just make the minimum payment on the loan because it's at 7.75%. But here's what I'm looking at. When I borrow money from the bank, they have my equity, and now I'm purchasing it back at a little bit at a time. And I don't want to buy it back a little bit at a time so that they can charge me 360 times. 360 times. So if when I make my mortgage payment, they reduce what I owe by $141.15. And now I have a new payment of $199,858.85. The way the amortization schedule works, this is essentially a brand new mortgage. $199,858.85. So Don, what is the interest cost on that this month? So we would take our 0.0775 divided by 12, and we get that number, and now we're going to multiply by our brand new mortgage amount of $199,858.85. Okay, so we're going to multiply it by 199,858.85 equals $1,290.76. There it is, $1,290.76, slightly lower than the amount I paid before. Okay, now This is why I say if you let the bank charge you, they'll charge you 360 times, making it 360 separate mortgages, not just one. So if we ignore what the investors are saying, take any extra money you have and invest it, because this is just at 7%. I want to show you something here. Let's just go down 36 months. If I have in 36 months, if I pay this loan down by $5,720, okay, I'm sorry, $5,700.20. Look how much interest I pay. $45,881.32. $45,000 is going to cost me to pay the loan down by $5,700. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we need to take a look at it. Okay. What am I getting for my money every month? I get to pay the loan down by this. So this particular entrepreneur, even though they're making $4,000 a month on the front end, guess what they're paying on the back end, because their tenants are paying them so that they can pay the mortgage. So in their mind, the tenants are paying for this, but out of them, if you add this together, that's over $51,000 that the tenants gave them. The tenants gave them $51,000 to use to pay the mortgage. And out of that $51,000 that the tenants gave them, this is what they got out of it, $5,700. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you today, if you had a tenant, and if you want to see these numbers, I put a link in the chat. We'll take you to YouTube so that you can put this on a separate device. Put it on your other phone or your tablet or your laptop or whatever. All right. But you want to see these numbers. So if somebody gave you $51,000 over a 3-year period, and all you had to show for it was $5,700, would you think that was a deal? Yes or no? Would you think that was a deal? Yes or no? Somebody gives you $51,000 over a 3-year period, and what you have to show for it, I got $5,700 in equity. The rest of the money went someplace else to someone else. It's not benefiting me. Do you think that's too much to pay for $5,700? So let me show you what's going on here. So if I know that I'm going to pay $5,700, now remember, my program tells us exactly what to do. So this is just an example. What if I were to prepay the $5,700? Okay, because the idea is if I put $5,700 towards my principal in 3 months, I'm paid down to here, $194,299.80. Okay, I'm paid down to right there if I do it the bank's way. Well, if I gave them $5,700 up front, would I be paid down to the same place? All right, about. Okay, so I need to be in this neighborhood. Okay, because I'm not using the math formulas, what I'm doing is just looking at the puzzle and figuring out the pieces here, so that the numbers won't be totally exact all the time. But in this case, they will be. So I have $200,000. Okay, $200,000. Okay, and now I have paid down the loan by $5,700, $5,700.20. So we're going to subtract $5,700.20 equals $194,299.80. That's exactly what I have here on line 12. So my question is, if I pay it over 36 months, it's going to cost me $45,881 in interest to pay that over, that amount of time. If I do that over 36 months, they're going to charge me $45,000. So let me ask you something. If I prepay that, if I prepay the $5,700 on line one, if I subtract it all at one time, okay, I want to subtract this at one time. I don't want to do it over 36 months with small amounts of money here so I can pay them big amounts of money over here on the interest side. So I'm going to give them the $5,700 all at once. Now, the experts are telling you, why do that when you can take that $5,700 and invest it somewhere where it's going to make you, 8%, 9%, 10% compound interest. But here's the thing. You do the calculations, okay? You do the calculations, because here's what I'm saying. If I prepay this, it's going to save me over $40,000 in interest I never have to pay. There's two camps here on the investment side. First of all, they said, no, you're saving, what's 6% of $5,700? That's what you're saving. If you prepay that, you're earning 6% on your $5,700. That's what you're doing. Well, how can that be? Because if I'm paid down to here in 1 month, how in the world can they charge me $45,000 if I'm paid down to there in 1 month? So how is that? Am I making just 6%? That just doesn't compute to me. You see, the thing is, when you're doing this math isolated from knowing how much interest you're actually paying, you see, on most amortization schedules, they don't give you cumulative principal and cumulative interest. You don't see that. You're not seeing that. Okay? And if anybody wants to come to the stage, please do. I work much better when there's a conversation. So come up to, just raise your hand, come up to the stage, and we can talk about it. But I don't think I need to pay 45 grand to do this. So let's take a look and see what would happen if, and we're going to take a look at the actual numbers. I make the very first payment. Okay, I make the very first payment here. All right. And this is what I owe. $199,580. I'm sorry, $199,858.85. That's what I have left. All right. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. 199,000. Now you want to do each one of these steps if you're doing this in your office or at home, and you pulled up Brett Whistle and you're putting these numbers in yourself. 199,858.85. Now I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to subtract the $5,700.20 from this number. So if I subtract that, okay, $5,700.20. It comes to 194,158.65. Okay, 194,158.65. That's what I have. So in my brain, I'm saying, why don't I just put this number into another amortization schedule and I see what I save? Okay, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to put in another amortization schedule. All right, and I'm going to take out that number and I'm going to put in 194,058.65. Okay. 0.65. That's my new amount. Okay, 0.65. There you go. Now I'm going to take out the 360 payments because I don't have 360 payments anymore. All right. And the program will tell me how many payments I have left. So we're going to delete that. But what we're going to put in here, okay, delete that. But we're going to, we have our old mortgage payment was $1,432.82. So that mortgage payment doesn't change when you prepay. So that's what we have to put in, $1,432.82. And when we calculate it, that tells us we have 323 payments left on this mortgage. 323 payments left. Okay. So if I do my 360 and I subtract 323 payments, that means I've just eliminated about 37 payments. If I prepay the $5,700, did I just remove 37 opportunities for the bank to charge me? Did I just remove 37 individual mortgages from this process? Did I just take them right off the table so the bank can't charge me? Let's take a look at that. All right. So if I go down to line 37 on here, right around here, okay, that means I'm in this area where I owe 194,121, 194,299. But what I came up with is by prepaying 194,158. 190. So it's right around in here. Do you see what I mean? It's not exact because I'm not using formulas, but it's close enough to know that I'm here. So if I'm starting here, so if I go to this mortgage now.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Well, I'm not, because I wasn't talking to you, Siri. That's why. All right. So here we are. So here's where we are. Both mortgages now. Remember, if I just pay this mortgage down to here, it would take me 36 months to do it. So let's pay this mortgage for 36 months. Okay. I have my new mortgage. I prepaid it. I just prepaid the $5,700. I'm not going to do anything for the next 36 months. I'm just going to make the regular mortgage payment for 36 months. Let's go down to line 36. Look where I am. I owe now $186,000, $923.63, not $194,000. So I'm down to here already. 186,000. So that is so on the first loan, to pay it down to 186,000. Let me show you something. To pay this loan down to 186,000, where I would owe 186,000, I want to show you something. 186,923 would put me right around here. 186,000. Look what it would cost. $91,000 in interest. If I were to pay this loan down the way the banks wanted me to, by not putting my $5,700 on here, but I just paid it down naturally to right here, it would take me 73 payments to get it to 186,888, which is around 186,009. But it would cost me $91,000 in interest to do the same thing. This way, I'm down here, and it cost me $44,000 in interest. Because I prepaid. So what would be the difference? What would be the difference? So I'm going to take where I would be normally to get to here, 91,000. Okay. Let me see here. 91,484.42. All right. And where I am now, because I prepaid, let's see, like 186,900. We're just gonna round it off to 190. 186,900. We're just going to round that off, okay? Make it easy. So here's what we're looking at. To get to 186,900, it will cost only 44,000. So let's put that in our calculator. 91,000 484.42. If I just make the minimum payments, to pay it down to 186,000 will cost me 91,484.42. But if I use this loan, if I prepay it and put it into a new amortization schedule for 36 months, I'm down here to 186,923. So let's subtract that. All right. I'm talking about the interest. I'm sorry, but that we want to subtract the interest that I would pay to get it here, which is 44,356.58. So we're going to subtract 44,356.58 equals $47,000. $47,000, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much I've just saved if I prepay $5,700. Now, the other camp is you have to keep the loan for 30 years to save $47,000. No, you don't. You just need to keep it for 36 months. Because what happens is when you prepay the $5,700, okay, you didn't save the whole $47,000 at one time. So let me put it this way. Have you ever prepaid for something? All right. Let's say you have a lawn service. All right, and they're going to give you 8 treatments. But if you prepay, you only have to pay for 6. All right. So you prepaid and it saved you 2 treatments for having to pay. You get all 8, but you only paid for 6, but you prepaid. All right. So now it's $200. It's $200. Did I, each treatment is $100. All right. So if I prepay $600, I don't have to pay $800. So my savings is $200. When I prepay, did I save $600 as soon as I gave them the money? Did I save $600? All right. Yes or no? I was supposed to pay them 8 for the season, but I paid them 6 and they're going to give me 8. So did I save $200? Yes or no? The experts are telling me, no, you didn't save $200 yet. You didn't save $200 yet. So when will I save the $200? Okay, here's what they mean by this. I prepay the $600. All right. And then the company goes out of business. And I don't get all 6 treatments. I don't get all 8 treatments. So I don't save the $200 until I'm in the contract for the entire time that I contracted for. All right. Which is I wanted to pay. I'm paying you for 6, but I'm getting 8. So after I receive the 8th treatment, that's when I save the $200. Does that make sense? So if I prepay $5,700, okay, but normally, and what I'm trying to get to is where I owe 186.9, okay, 186.9. But how much did I save the $47,000 right away? No. Because if I sell the house, if something happens to the house, then I don't save all $4,700 until I pay the loan down to 186,000 on the new loan. As soon as I reach here, that's when I've saved $47,000. So now let me show you something interesting. Now I just went through something that was very complicated. Okay, several steps. When really all I had to do was, I'm taking a look at both loans. I have $315,000 here that the bank wants over 30 years. 315,000, 815.20. That's what they want over 30 years. And when I put the new loan in, after I prepay, after the first payment, I owe 194,000, all right, at 7.75%, save payment, all right. Now the interest I will pay over 30 years is 268,732.65. So in my brain, okay, like I said, I'm not a real math guy, but in my brain, if I take the 315,000, 315,815 and 20 cents, okay, and I subtract the total interest cost for 30 years. If I subtract that, the 200 and subtract 268,732.65. Look here, about $47,000. It's not exact because before I got 47,127, 47,127. But isn't this close enough? Is this close enough to give me an idea that if I prepay a certain amount of money and I figure out where it would be normally to get to that same spot 36 months later, I'm going to save over $47,000. That is going to be the result of prepaying $5,700 up front. Now let me ask this question to all the investors out there who are looking at this, and you can put it in the chat during the replay or whatever. Okay. All your investors out there, how long, and you use whatever interest rate you want to use, whether it's 10%, 12%, 15%, whatever it is, how long would I have to keep my $5,700 in the investment to make $47,000? Okay. Because here's what I just discovered. When you invest and you get a result, okay, we're going to take a look at the definition of ROI. So I'm going to put this in here, ROI, return on investment. Okay, return on investment. How do I calculate that? How do I calculate ROI? Okay, so to do that, okay, where's my formula? Okay, ROI formula. Where is it? What happened to it? It's gone. All right, to calculate, what does that mean? ROI formula. What does it mean? Let's see, where is that? What is ROI? How is it calculated? That's what I want. How is it calculated? So what you do is, I had something that was simpler to see, and I thought I had it all queued up for you guys. But here's how you do it. You take your results, okay? You take your results and then you multiply it by what you invested. All right. You divide it by what you invested, and then you multiply that by 100. Okay. So if my results are 47,000, okay, if my results are 47,000, okay, you guys look it up for me. Maybe you can find it for me. If this is my result, $47,000, what did I do to save $47,000 in 36 months? What I did was I prepaid $5,700. All right. If I prepay $5,700, so I got to divide it by 5,700 equals 8.26. And then I multiply that by 100. Here's my return on investment. 826%. 826% on this investment. Christina, Daniel, oh, listen, we have the same last name. She said, that's a good question. Okay. She loves this. She's a new homeowner. And that's my niece. My niece is actually watching my show. Thank you, Christina, for tuning in. She says, what investor can guarantee that? None. None. If I take $5,700, I'm going to get 826% return on that money after 36 months. What are the investors talking about? What are they seeing? They're seeing, I'm only going to save 7.75%. No. What I've done is this. Let me take you back to the original loan here. Let me take you back to the original loan. Now, remember, I'm not a math guy. I was born this way. There's absolutely no reason for me to know any of this. I did not study it in school. I didn't graduate from college. I don't have a math background. In fact, I got C's and D's in math. When I look at an amortization schedule, this is what I see. I see the pattern, and the pattern that people are telling me it doesn't add up. The pattern didn't make sense. This pattern makes sense. If I prepay $5,700, it takes 35. It takes about 35, 36 of these payments off the board. It's 35 times the bank can't charge me if I prepay that amount. I paid the first loan, I paid the first payment, but then I prepaid the $5,700. Okay? I've just removed 35 opportunities off the board so the bank can't charge me. Now, if I remove 35 opportunities, which 35 did I remove? Off the back end? Which 35 did I remove? Here's what I removed. These opportunities. Between here, you see all these, starting with this one, $1,290.76. I removed that. The next one, $1,289.84. I removed that. So I removed all of these from line 2 down to line 36. All of these. Okay. Now what they're looking at, folks, is this. Here's what they're looking at. The interest payment here, the interest payment here is $1,290.76. Let's bring the calculator back. Okay. This is what's confusing the smart people, because the Bible says that the foolish will confound the wise. I am not smart when it comes to these numbers and using these fancy calculators. Okay. I do it in a way that my brain can understand it and see it. So if I take $1,290.76, I got that because I did it by an annualized 7.75% interest rate. Okay. I took 1/12 of the interest rate and I got that. Okay. But when I go down to 36 months, look here. Look at the payment here. $1,255.90. That is the interest payment there. $1,255.99. So if I subtract $1,255.99, the difference is only $34.77. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to see something here. Because of amortization, the difference in the amount of interest that you pay from line 2 to line 36, the difference in the amount of interest that you pay is $34.77. but the number of times you don't pay is 35 times. The amount of interest that's the difference between the two payments is 34. So how do I get from paying $1,290.76 in interest? How do I get from there to pay $1,255.99 in interest? If I do it the bank's way, it absolutely will cost me $45,881.32 to pay this amount of interest this month. It would take me 36 months to get there and cost me 45 grand to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, so if I can save, if I listen, if I can save over $40,000, if I can take my $5,700, invest it. So what I'm doing is that I'm investing it in my future. I'm investing in the equity, the potential equity of my home. I'm putting $5,700 over here, but 36 months later, the return on investment saves me, all right? So 36 months later, all right, on this new loan, okay, 36 months later, I'm paid down to here to 186,000 on my new loan because I prepaid $5,700. But to pay it down to 186,009 the bank's way, 186,009, right around here, boom. If I do it the bank's way, it costs me 91,000. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. Even if I'm an investor, okay? Now I also need you to see this. Remember how much did I prepay? I prepaid $5,700, correct? I prepaid $5,700. And if on my second loan where I prepaid and I put in my new loan to get to 36 payments, I paid $7,235. $7,235. So if I take how much interest I paid, and now this is interesting too. I paid $7,235.02. If I just make 36 payments and don't prepay anything on my new loan, okay? That's what I got, right? And I remember, what did I prepay? Plus $5,700 equals 12,900, almost $13,000, 12,900. So I paid 12,900 both ways. One way, I prepaid $5,700, and then I didn't do anything else until I got to month 36. Then I add the 7,235 it took me to get to here, to where I owe 186,000. All right. And then I look at my old loan. Go back to the original loan where I have about $12,900 in cumulative principal. Okay. I prepaid $5,700 of the principal, and then I paid another $7,000 in interest over here. That would be a total of, look here, look where it took me. Down to here, 186,800, $13,000 in interest, in principal. Here's my question to you. I paid the same amount of my money to principal, $13,000. I do it the bank's way. I do it the investor way. I do it the way that I don't want to put any money towards prepaying the principal. If I do that, it is going to cost me $91,484.42 to pay my loan down by $13,000. But this way, by prepaying $5,700 and adding the $7,235 after 36 payments to pay it down to the same place, it only cost me $44,000 to give them 13 grand. People, I can't, this is astounding to me. I wish I knew the formula so I could put it in a calculator so that, if we were to, do it in a classroom, that I could map it out on the whiteboard or on the smart board, and you'll be able to see all of that. But if I just use something simple like this, an amortization calculator that shows me cumulative interest and cumulative principal, it's easy to see that the savings are about $47,000 to get to the exact same place where I would pay it down by 13,000, still owe 186,000, still owe 186,000, still pay about 13,000, but the amount of interest that I pay vastly, vastly different. I challenge anyone. You show people this video, okay? This YouTube video. Anybody who says all you're saving is 6% when you prepay, don't do it. Don't prepay. Take that money and invest it and make 10%, 13%, even 20%. How long would you have to keep it into that investment at that interest rate to make $47,000? Folks, this is guaranteed. Anytime you invest, there's risk involved. Okay? Yeah. Here's the risk involved. If you prepay $5,700 and somehow you lose your house, then you never get to realize the whole $47,000 in interest savings, because you have to stay in the loan at least 36 months to realize that. Or something else happens. I don't know. But that's the only risk here. But the numbers are true. You stay in that loan 36 months, you're guaranteed an interest savings to get the same amount of pay down. You're guaranteed an interest savings of $47,000. No one can dispute it. What do you guys think? Anybody getting, if you got anything out of that, put a number 9 in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, or you're on Clubhouse. Put a number 9 in the chat if all of this made sense to you. I've been here for 1 hour. Sheila says it makes sense to her. Thank you, Sheila. All right. Anybody else who's been paying mortgages for years, say, does this make sense? All right. Christina says, she says, she puts in several 9s. Isaac Short, who's watching us on Facebook, puts in a number 9. Raynita Perry puts in a number 9. Sheila Scott says not only that, but she put a thumbs up. And Marie put in a 9. Listen, on Clubhouse, folks, the practically 99% of the whole investment community is saying if you prepay, you're only saving at the interest rate you're being charged.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Okay, Siri, stop it. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't, I wish I had the words to share with you. Here, let me put this at the top. I need your help. Sharon M. Jones says savings, savings, savings. All right. Somebody raising their hand. Sheila, come up. Sheila wants to say something. Miss Sheila, come up to the stage. Are you raising your hand because you want to come up? BJ wants to come up, invite to speak. All right. You guys come on up. Miss BJ, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you, and yourself.
I am doing extremely well, extremely well. What comment or question do you have for me today?
Well, I don't have a question. I have a comment on what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
Having been a former owner of homes, I see what you're saying. It makes sense in my mind. Like you said, doesn't have the calculator. You see the pattern and you're able to generate the answer from the pattern.
We're not hearing
All
you.
that matters
We're not hearing you
is
real
not
well.
the
Hold on,
answer.
Miss BJ. Could you hold on for just a second? Are you driving? Are you driving? Try it now. Okay, open your mic. Okay, okay, your mic is open.
Okay.
Try it again. We
What
hear
about
you really good now. Say it again. Say it
what
again.
about now?
Say it again.
I said what you said makes a whole lot of sense. I actually see it in my mind's eye as you're speaking. It doesn't matter whether we have the formula or not. You see the pattern, and from the pattern, deduce enough information that gets you to the answer that you need. So let me just say, thank goodness you didn't go to college and all that stuff, because you probably would be messed up. you probably you probably wouldn't be able to see it. Because if you think about it, including people like Bill Gates, most of them dropped out of college anyway because they figured out college was education on some level to do something, but it wasn't what they needed to become an entrepreneur that was very wealthy. So I went to college, but I'm a big proponent of your understanding patterns and cycles. And you don't have to go to college to do that. In fact, most people that I know that are wealthy are self-made millionaires, which most of them would trash it and mess it up because they don't have the cycle nor the pattern in their minds correctly, which is why the Vanderbilts, even though they were richer than the Carnegies, they actually became broke, and the Carnegies, who were less rich than them, maintained generational wealth. And that's a whole nother story. But I just wanted to comment on what you said. So it doesn't matter about the naysayers. What matters is that there's some of us who are listening. And by the way, I paid my $24.95 or whatever it is to be in your affiliate class, because that's how much I believe in what you're doing. So I'll see you tomorrow night, I guess, in your affiliate class. And I'm going to close the mic.
Thank you so much for that. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Miss Sheila, did you have a comment?
Yes, sir. Oh, this is awesome and amazing. First of all, I am from Portland, Oregon, which is CST time. I want to let you know I'm not on Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
So I got up super early to hear your class. Someone shared it with me, shared the link. I want to say this is so good, and just like the other lady was saying, BJ, this is your gift. This is what you was created to do. This is your purpose. Um, I I purchased a home, my first home, in 1991. As a matter of fact, should have been coming up the time point that I would have paid my home off. Of course, um, went through divorce, and so that didn't actually happen. But I did keep my house for a long period of time. At one point, my husband and we did biweekly payments. We made a payment. The both of us worked, and we made a payment every other week. We made a payment, and once we started doing that, um, which I figured out, if we'll say our payment, just for the sake of numbers, our house payment was around $1,200 a month, and if we had paid um, our monthly payment, and after we make the monthly payment, if we made an extra $100, which would be uh, one extra payment per year, one extra payment per year. So
Yes.
whatever a person's mortgage is, if they calculate it and split it up into 12 payments, they can actually make one payment and then make the second payment. We, back then it was checks. So we would write a check. The
Mm-hmm.
first check would be the actual monthly payment. And the second check down in the line 4, we would write principal only. So we would make a second payment that would go strictly for the principal. And if you do that each month for a year, that will be one full payment per year. So we buy down 7 years. You will buy down 7 years off of your 30-year mortgage.
That
In
is
essence, and
correct.
yes, and you will pay your mortgage off. What is that? 23
In 23 years.
23 years instead of 30. Now, the house we purchased at the time we purchased it was, which is never heard of anymore, $82,000.
Okay.
Okay. And we did somewhere after 5 years, we did a small refi. So I think we owed a little bit more than 100, about 110 or so forth, somewhere in that neighborhood. I kept the home for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sold the house, it was worth over 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, the same house is valued over 600, maybe $650,000. So, if you consider when you purchase a home, and Warren Buffett say, you buy and don't sell. So imagine we would have had over $500,000 in equity.
Wow. Wow.
No matter, like you said, no matter what you do, as long as you make your mortgage payment. And I've always said, when I own a home, nothing gets paid until the mortgage is paid. If you make, hey, I don't buy a loaf of bread until the mortgage is paid.
Okay.
Because if you have a roof over your head, you can always improvise the rest.
Come on now.
If you gotta boil some water, or light some candles, whatever you gotta do, you got a roof over your head. Okay,
Miss Sheila.
See, a lot of people, have you ever heard of people?
Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I want to thank you for coming to the stage and sharing that. Would you?
Yeah.
Would you like to know that we completely, here at the P.I.L.L method, we've taken what you've done, plugged a computer into it, and instead of saving 7 years, most of our people are out of debt completely, not only on their mortgage, their 30-year mortgage, but their student loans, their car loans, everything, in about 7 to 9 years because of interest cancellation. We've taken what you've done and then amplified it to the point where you can be out of debt in 7, not save 7, but save 23. Would you be interested to know that?
Definitely. Most definitely.
That's what we're doing on this side of what you're doing. What you started doing. All right, we plugged the computer into it because when my mind sees it, it says, listen, let's take a look, Miss Sheila. Let's take a look at what you were doing. Okay, what you was doing said, listen, nothing gets paid till the mortgage gets paid. Okay, you're getting your money in, and you are focusing on paying your bills, getting the bills paid. If you track how much you're spending on the bills, you know how much money is left over after everything is paid. If you put everything on the budget, all right. So let's just say you get your money. First thing you do, all right. Then you may want to do church or charity. Church or charity. First thing that comes out of the money. Second thing that comes out of the money is we're going to make sure that we're putting some money away for savings, and usually on your job that's automatically taken out. All right. Then the next thing she says, pay that mortgage. pay at least the minimum payments you got to make on your debt. You got to do that. She says, and mortgage is at the top of that list for her. So make sure that's done. And then after you pay on your loans, then you pay the rest of the bills, food, electricity, water, all of those other bills, cable, cell phone, all of those other bills. If you track that, you're able to see how much money is actually left over. And then that's the money we use, Miss Sheila. So we tell people, put that money in the bank. And when you put that money in the bank for a certain period of time, we're going to tell you the right time to take it out and to apply it to principal on one of those loans. And we're going to tell you exactly how much interest you saved. And it's going to be a ton. All right. And then you start the process all over again. Pay your bills, money left over, put in the bank. And every 2, 3, or 4 months or so, take that money out and apply it to the debt. Now, the other thing that we show is this. Every dollar is important. Wouldn't you say, Ms. Sheila, every dollar is important?
Every dollar.
Every dollar, she said. And you want to get the most you can per dollar. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So listen, if you do this thing right, you pay the right amount in the right month on the right day of the month, you can actually maximize how much interest I can eliminate per dollar. You can save the most that is mathematically possible for you. I'm not a strong math person. This is why we have a computer that does all the work for us now. Ms. Sheila, thank you so much. So in essence, wrap this all up for us on a bow, your experience, and what do you want the people to know about owning a home? What do you want them to know? What do you want the people to know?
I want the people to know that owning a home is leverage, is wealth, is generational wealth. You are building not only for now, today, but for tomorrow. So many people look at things today. When you own a home, I've seen people own homes for 5 generations. Imagine having a home that you could leave in your family for many generations. They never have to pay another mortgage. Awesome and amazing.
Awesome and amazing. Thank you very much, Ms. Sheila, for coming to the stage. I want you to hang out because you may have some more pearls of wisdom to share with us. I have my niece on the stage this morning, Christina. Are you able to talk with us this morning?
You got me for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Before I walk out the door.
What did you have to say to us this morning?
I put it in the chat. I just said, like I said, I try to come and listen when I can. It is 6 a.m. over here in Arizona, so it's early for me when you get started at 5 a.m. But for those that don't know, you've been doing this for a long time. Since I graduated college, you was like, I got a plan. I was like, I wasn't ready. I'm ready now. I'm not paying my mortgage for 29 years. I'm not doing it. So, and I just bought a house last July, so we're done. We're fully invested. And I am a math person. I love numbers. So all this makes all the sense. So at least one of us got it right. Oh.
Well, listen, you got it. You got the brains for it because it bypassed me. So listen, thank you very much for being here, Christina. She's out in Arizona, folks. Gets up here early. Thank you.
Of course. I'm trying to get people to listen, but hey, you can't make them do what they're not ready to do. This is a lot. It's a lot to take in. Sometimes it's a lot to think about, especially people that are investing and trying to figure out how to build this wealth and not realizing that they can just get out of this a lot faster and still build the wealth and still have the equity and still be able to pass it down and still be able to do everything they want to do.
And everything you want to do is she's talking about you can live well. You can live well and do all of this stuff. You don't have to live like a pauper. Listen, once you get
I like to take trips.
You say you like to do what now?
I like to take trips. I can't be tying up money and no trips.
Okay. So. Listen to this dude. So I got a son. We got to create memories. I can't be telling my child we can't afford to do it because I got to pay off this house.
Right. Not gonna happen. But I'm about to walk out the door. You guys take care. Have a great Wednesday, and I will be back on the next one.
Thank you very much, Christina. See, folks, this is what we're talking about. People get this information and they need to know. And I just heard Miss BJ. It was Miss BJ. You said you're going to be at our training for affiliate training. Okay. So listen, here's what I need you all to do.
Yes, I was muted. Driving to an inspection I have to do for someone. Yes, I got my link, and I think it had a link in there for me to click on for the session. This tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I'm already signed up. I'm ready to do this because I'm around a lot of people with houses. I'm in a group with wholesaling, real estate, and a whole bunch of stuff. And they need to be able to share this and get this done.
Well, listen, thank you so much for that. So, folks, if you want to be an affiliate, it takes about 15 seconds to sign up. I have on my screen, I've got on my screen, become my 10K card, my digital business card. And down here where it says become an affiliate, you can click on that. Go to ICE. If you can't see it, go to ice10k.com. ice10k.com. We're going to put it across the screen at the bottom as well. Let me get that scrolling across the screen so that you can see that. I got a banner. All right, let's see. Which one do I want? Visit. Okay. ice10k.com. All right. We're going to put this one. Visit ice10k.com to start the process. Okay. So that's scrolling across the screen if you're watching us online. But go to the business, ice10k.com, and then click on this button that says become an affiliate. Let me show you what happens when you do. All right. This will come up. You put your name in. First, last name, phone number, email, and how you want to get paid. Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, how you want to get paid. So you put that in there. If you want to become an affiliate, it is so easy. You don't have to sell anything. All you have to do. Oh, okay. Sorry, folks. I didn't have it on the screen so you could see it. Let me start over. All right. Let's go back to ice10k.com. All right. You go over this, you fill this out, tell us how you want to get paid, and then submit. Submit that. Yeah, some people are doing it already. I can see some people are signing up already. I am going to put the link. All right. I'm also going to put the link for because you're just now signing up, you're not going to get an email. All right. Because we update the list weekly for emails going out. I'm going to put the link for the affiliate training in the chat. Okay. So we're going to put that link in there. Okay. Copy the link. And we put that in the chat. And we're going to put that online too. All right. Paste. So that is the link for the affiliate training tomorrow. All right. At 7 p.m. Central Time. If you can make it, sign up to become an affiliate. It's absolutely free. And this affiliate training is $24.95. $24.95. And if you come to this affiliate training, you will then also, one of the things you receive, not only top-notch training on how to make between $300 and $3,000 a month by sharing this information, you're also going to get this. Let me go back. Okay. So we're going to go back here. If you go back to this, my card here, all right, you will be able, we're going to put a link up, okay, that says P.I.L.L Method affiliate cards. P.I.L.L Method affiliate cards. Every affiliate that attends the class will get a branded a digital business card, all right, so that people will be able to see what they need to see easy. You will get, and so you just click on this and fill it out. Put your information in, your profile picture, and then the team will build you out your own digital card. And one of the things that you'll have on the card is several episodes of how to pay off mortgages in 7 years. What? Yeah, it'll be right here as one of the buttons. You'll click on that button and it comes up on your screen like this. People can watch it straight from their phone. Look at this. I got 229 episodes here of how to pay off mortgages in 7 years. And people are able to watch that. So how does this work as an affiliate? If you find someone who wants to know more about what we're doing here, you just ask them, listen, I need you to watch some videos. You give them as an affiliate, you would give them this card, we'll show you how to share the card with everybody. So you click that share button. We'll show you how to share it with people. We're going to go over that tomorrow night. And then you say, click on that button that shows the videos. Okay. You tell them what button shows that, and then they can watch those videos. Follow up with them like 48 hours later, no more than 48 hours. Within 24 to 48 hours, call them back and say, do you want to know more information? If they say yes, then what you do is then you will fill out, all right, you will fill out a card that says, okay, let me see here. Let me find it on here. I want to show you, all right? Not become an affiliate, but now you want to, all right, that savings report, all episodes, get a savings, okay, become an affiliate. I'm trying to find the button that says here, you want to, okay, sample. Okay, let me go to sample affiliate cards. Okay, sample card. You'll get a become an affiliate button, and you'll get a refer a friend button on your card. Okay, refer a friend button on your card, which is right here. Let me see here. Let me bring that up so that it makes sense. And let's go to full screen so that you can see it. View and enter full screen. There we go. So you can see it online. But there's a refer a friend button on that affiliate card as well. So get that. And then when you fill that out, you click on refer a friend, and this is what you get. Put in their name, put in their number, put in your email, put in their email, put in their zip code, and then right here, you put in your name and your number. Your name and your number goes here, and any additional information we would need, and you click submit. If this person, all right, when this person becomes a client, and if they have at least $100,000 in debt, just because you got a digital business card and shared it with somebody, and they watched a few videos on their phone, okay? This is a $250 value you're going to get just for showing up at the training tomorrow night. Okay. $250 value you're going to get for showing up at the training tomorrow night. And the training only costs $24.95. What kind of deal is that? So you'll get that paid for by the P.I.L.L method. We're going to pay for your digital card. All right. And it is the 10K company. We pay the 10K company. You'll get a digital card. We'll show you how to get it. And then you can share this information with them. And then when they become a client, $300 comes to you. Send us a second one in the same month that becomes a client. Then we'll pay you $400 for that one. The third one in the same month will pay you $500. The fourth one will pay you $600. And the fifth one, if you could do all 5 in the same month, the fifth one is worth $1,200 for a total of $3,000 in 1 month. We're going to show you how to make between $300 and $3,000 a month just by sharing these videos with individuals without having to sell anything at all. You just believe in the process. Okay. So, so we have, so go ahead, fill that out. And I made sure that you got the link so that you can go ahead and sign up for the master class tomorrow. That is let me see here. I didn't put it in the chat. Let me go ahead and place that link in the chat as well for Clubhouse. All right. And that's not what we want. That's for the YouTube. Let me get the affiliate training masterclass link. Okay. And copy the link and see if I can paste that instead. There we go. There it is. Now, that's the link to the masterclass. I'll also put it at the top of the page for a bit. Okay. No, I can't put it at the top of the page because I got to go over some other stuff. All right. So it's in the chat if you want to see that. So sign up for an affiliate, sign up for the class tomorrow night if you can make it. But we're going to have classes all along. So if you can't make it if you can't make it for tomorrow, you'll be entered into the affiliate database. And we're sending out emails just to the affiliates so you'll know when the next class is. How about that? All right. So now some of you have heard some good information today about how mortgages really work. Not just one mortgage, but 360 mortgages. 360. Each time they charge you, it's a brand new mortgage. Each time they charge you, it's a brand new mortgage. And I just showed how if you were to prepay this amount of money here, the $5,700, I just showed how you could take 36 payments off the map. Just take them right off the table. Take them right off. That's 36 or 35 fewer times the bank can charge you over $1,200 a month interest. That is a whole lot of money. All right. That's a whole lot of money. So if you want that for yourself, so Miss Sheila was talking about how to pay, how she increased her equity faster by doing something as simple as doing biweekly payments. But if you want to get out of debt in a matter of 7 to 9 years on average, okay, then you want to go back to the card. All right, go back to the card. Let me pull it up. ice10k.com. Okay, ice10k.com. And then click on where it says get a savings and earnings report right underneath the video of E.T. the hip hop preacher. Okay, get your savings and earnings report. Fill it out. And then within the next 2 days, within the next 48 hours, because you're going to indicate when we can call you. There's a way to indicate when we call you. We have to verify the information you sent us. You can know the month, day, and year you're debt free by filling out that. So go to get your savings and earnings report. And here's the screen that comes up. Just fill this out. Fill this in. Once you fill this in, then you'll be able to, we'll let you into the financial form, put that information in, and then click submit. Our team will go to work verifying your information. We got to give you a call to verify the information. Once it's verified, we will produce a report for you that tells you the month, day, and year you'll be debt free. And the report is free. It costs you nothing to find out how this program works. All right, how well it would work for you. Now, if you want to have a consultation about your results, that's a whole different story. We only charge $150 for that. And the $150 is guaranteed. You must receive $150 worth of value. You must be completely satisfied with what you're getting out of that consultation for that 1 hour, or I'll send the $150 back to you. So there's nothing to lose here, folks. All right. So I have some things on, let's say who's talking to me on YouTube here. Says, I have to speak. All right. Kimberlyn Sellers says here. All right. She says, I have to speak tomorrow night. Is there any way for me to watch the replay and still be able to be one? I'm very interested. So, Kimberlyn, that's a very good question. Let me put that on the screen for people to see. Okay. This is what she wants to know. She has to be somewhere tomorrow night. She would love to be there. Anyone who pays the $24.95 will be able to receive the link to watch this program. Right? We're going to produce a link for everyone who wants to watch this over and over again. So we're going to produce a link for you and send it to you. So if you paid for it, even if you can't be there, you'll get a link to watch it. Now, if you like a live presentation, I would just wait until the next live one. But if you want to get this, all you have to do is pay the $24.95, register, and everybody gets a link that registers. The only thing that you'll be able to, the only thing you won't be able to engage in is the back and forth, the question and answer periods. Okay. But other than that, here we go. She says, join the team. Can't wait to be a part. Thank you, Kimberly. This is what she says. Let's put that on the screen. Okay. Join the team. Can't wait to be a part. I want to thank everybody for being here today. You all have blessed my soul today. Everybody needs to watch what's going on here with the P.I.L.L method so people can understand what's going on with their money and stop listening to the so-called experts giving bad information for years. If I prepay, you're just saving 6% or 7% of the money that you prepaid. That's it, because it's a 7% loan. But what they're not telling you is, yes, it is 7%. It is that. But the way it's amortized is you get a brand new loan every single month with a brand new interest payment every single month. And by prepaying, you take a bunch of those off the table so they can't charge you all of that interest. And when you remove that, and I showed it side by side, 2 separate mortgages, oh my gosh, it is clear as day. It is clear as day. All right. Where else can you get that kind of return that we showed today? All right. Where if you can, I've got this on, I just have the calculator on the screen. Okay. We have a benefit of $47,000 if we prepay $5,200 on that loan I just showed you. Okay. And we divide it by $5,200. Oops. $5,200 equals 9.03. And I'm sorry, it wasn't 5,200. I take that back. Okay. 40. Let me pull that back up so I can see how much we prepaid. All right. So 36 months. Oh, it's $5,700, not 52. Okay. All right. So now let's get this off of here and bring back my other screen. There we go. Bring the calculator over to here. And all right, calculator. Why won't it go over there anymore? For some reason, I can't get the calculator to go on the screen anymore. So let's do this. All right. So, why won't it go over there? Okay. Oh, all right. Let me get it. Let me get out of here. Escape. All right. And there it goes. All right. It won't go over to full screen. All right. So I've got 200,000 at 7.75. There we go. There it is. There's my payment. All right. And I go down to 36 months. Okay. All right. And then let me bring up my calculator. We did the math before. We're saving about $47,000 in interest. All right. And then we prepaid $5,700 to get it. So we divide it by 5,700 equals, and then we multiply that by 100. Multiply that by 100. That gives us an 824% return on our money. 824% return on our money. You can't beat that anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So there is a point at which, and we'll have an opportunity to go over this later. There is a point at which every time you prepay, you're saving less and less interest. So your return on your investment gets less and less. There is a point at which you don't want to do that anymore. And as that happens, we can actually figure out for you how much money that you want to use to save interest on your loan, and how much of your money you should be investing at the same time. This is what we do with our investors. They tell us how much of their income they want to use to invest. We don't touch that. Okay. And then they say, well, if I have this much money available, what can we do with that? So we're going to do a calculation in our system that gives us what is critical point analysis. We're going to do critical point analysis. What is that critical point where if I put this much money into interest cancellation, I can save the most per dollar. Any more than that is not effective. So we want to go right up to the line. What is right up to the line where it makes sense? How much interest you're going to save? How does that make sense for the home buyer or the real estate investor? How much money is that? Then any other monies we have, we're going to talk about putting that into an investment at the same time. So we can do both. We can make money through investing, and we can save money through prepaying the right amount of money, so that even $5,700 over 36 months can save us $47,000 in interest we don't have to pay the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here today. We're going to cut out. We're going to be back here on Friday. All right. We're going to be back here on Friday to do this all over again. But if you were interested in seeing what the program looks like that does all of this, here it is. If you're interested in doing something different with your finances, if you're interested in doing something better with your finances, if you're looking at taking that interest money that you would have paid the bank, getting out of debt early, saving thousands upon thousands of dollars in interest, here's what I suggest to you. Get a savings and earnings report today. Go to ice10k.com, get your savings and earnings report, and then we will also show you the interest that you didn't pay the bank. What if we could track that for you? And then you decided, well, I was going to pay the bank that much interest, but I didn't. Why don't I take that money and invest it later? Here's what I want to share with you today. We're paying about 75% more interest than we need to. What if you didn't pay that money in interest and you could invest it in your family? What if you can increase your investments by the interest you did not pay the bank? For a lot of our clients, that's going to net them more than $1 million for a bunch of our clients. Taking the interest money that they no longer pay the bank, and if you're intentional about investing it, instead of just spending it. Because you were going to give it to the bank so that they could invest it. You didn't give it to the bank, so now you can invest it and turn that into long-term interest earnings on money you previously were giving to the bank so that they can invest it. Now do it for yourself. Do it for your family. We will show you both. The month, day, and year you'll be debt-free. And the interest savings, we're going to show you what your potential interest earnings would be if you would take that money and invest it in your family. We're going to show you both numbers. The time the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free, and how much potential earnings you have by putting that money to work. We're going to show you both, and we're going to give it to you for free. All right. So here's the last thing I want to share with you. All right. Last thing I want to share with you. We're going to bring that up a new screen. Bring up ice10k.com and buy my book. Share this with your family. Buy the book. Just click on the link that says buy the book. All right, that link right there. Buy the book, and it takes you straight to Amazon so that you can get the book. Ladies, I don't see any more hands raised. Let me check what we've got in the chat. Sheila Scott says, great class. Thank you so much. Kimmy Sell says, shoot, I have to speak tomorrow. Okay, that's what we took care of that. All right. And Sheila Scott says, your home it is an investment, like your bank. Okay, I love that. All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We're going to be back on Friday, and our show on Friday. Let me see here. I already put it up. What's our show on Friday? Let me see here. Go to YouTube. Let me see what our show is on Friday. Okay. Our show for Friday is, you can pay off 3 mortgages in under 10 years, part 2. Last Friday, we did part 1 on this. How you can pay off 3 mortgages at one time. We're going to go into this a little deeper and what it means to use our program. All right. Use our program on how to pay off 3 mortgages. All right. In under 10 years. Some people never pay off 1 mortgage in 30 years. We're going to show you how to pay off 3 mortgages in under 10 years coming on Friday, part 2. You don't want to miss it. But to get caught up, go to the YouTube channel and watch part 1. Okay. And then when we jump into part 2, you won't get lost. All right. So any other questions or comments today before we get out of here? I want to thank you for being here. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas one time, so that, and then we're going to play our theme music and end the show for today. If there are no other questions, I want to see you guys here Friday. And if you can't be here, don't worry about it. You have the replays on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right, Miss BJ, did you have something to say before we go? You're in the matrix. We're not hearing you very well. You must have the red bar. Do you have the red bar?
Yeah, looks like I am. I'm down in the country, so yeah, the internet's not. Can I reach out to you via the email address?
Yes, ma'am. Or you can go to you can go to ice10k.com as well and reach out to us that way.
Because I didn't. The red bar's gone.
Okay.
The red bar's gone. I'm down in the country doing an inspection. But real quick, I didn't see the information about putting where I want to get paid for the affiliate program. Will you talk about that tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, it was actually you had to fill that out. It was right underneath when you put the affiliate information in. You had the choice between Venmo.
Okay.
Did you click on one of those?
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't recall it. Can I go back and check?
Well, no, you can't go back and check. You have to, but that's okay. All right. When somebody's going to get paid, my office contacts you anyway. It says you have you've got an affiliate check coming. How do you want to get paid? So,
Right.
so even if we have it, we check with you first anyway to make sure
Okay,
you
great.
still have
All
that
right, no
account.
problem.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I want to take this class so I can start telling people I know. So I will be there as far as I know on tomorrow night.
Thank you very much for that. Miss Sheila, did you have something to share before we go?
Yes, I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if your expertise would be in this, but I'm looking at a small house, a small home in the Louisiana area. I wanted to pay cash. Is this it's under 50,000, but I wanted to pay cash and then go back to the bank for an equity loan. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, here's what I would do. Okay. If it were me, I would get a 30-year mortgage on the house. Okay. And then you still have your cash to invest. Okay. You still have your cash
Yes.
to invest. I would get a 30-year mortgage on the house. What are you going to be doing with that house?
Well, I haven't decided if I'm gonna flip it. They want to cash out.
Okay. So, are you looking to live in it? Or are you looking to for an investment property? That's what I'm getting at. Investment. Yeah.
Definitely not
Listen,
living
I would borrow the money all day. All day, because by the time we get through with it here at the P.I.L.L method, your effective interest rate could possibly be under 1% when we look at the amount of interest that you'll pay over the time that you're going to be in it. So
Yes.
touch base with us. We'll help you to run the numbers. Now, here's the thing. When you ask me a question like that, you know what the best answer is? The best answer is, I don't know. Let's run the numbers to see which way works best for you to pay cash for the house or get a mortgage for the house and invest your cash.
Yes.
So the only way we can really know is to run the numbers to see and compare. Wouldn't you say?
Sure.
Yeah, touch base with us. We'll help you to run those numbers.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here today. And thank you too for coming to the stage. I love it when people come to the stage and have questions and comments. Okay. So let me see
Yes,
here.
sir.
I want to put my book on the screen. There it is. So also go to ice10k.com and get the book. Get the book today. And in fact, I think Amazon has taken a few cents off. All right. So get the book today while it's a little bit cheaper. Get it. And then you can start studying, especially if you're an affiliate, because understanding this, even though you're not selling anything, having a greater understanding is going to help your confidence in sharing this information and getting people to watch the videos. I need people to watch these videos. When you have people watch the videos, they learn more. Okay. Instead of trying to sell them something, let them discover what it is they need to know. What's nagging at them? So this thing I've been paying on this debt and it's been nagging me, and it's not going anywhere. I'm looking at all this interest I'm paying. There's got to be a better way than this. And that's why we have the subtitle, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt, on the book. So as you study this more, you can be more confident when you watch the videos, when you read the book, and you're sharing the videos with others from your own digital business card, which we're going to give you give you access to tomorrow night. We're going to show you how to get all of that. Okay. Then once you understand how that works, you can share the information easier. It's all in one place. And then you'll be able to have confidence when you talk to them. And then when you call them back, you're full of enthusiasm. And you say, I will have them contact you. What is your contact information? Get their contact information, put it in, refer a friend, and send it in. We'll take it from there. Okay? Okay, everybody. That's it for today. And we'll see you. Get the book, become an affiliate, sign up for the training, and get your savings and get your savings report today. Go to ICE 10K and click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. It's absolutely free. Get it today. All right. And do me another favor and share this particular one out to everybody else. That it's not one mortgage, it's 300 separate mortgages, and show the real math involved in what happens when you prepay. So let me see. I have another comment here. David says, thanks, Don. He'll be there as well. All right. David's coming for a second time. All right. Thank you, David. We appreciate you. All right. Well, let me get things queued up here for Dr. Eric Thomas to talk to us, and then we'll play our outro music, and that'll be it for today. Again, my name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And for 18 years, we have been sharing this information with others so that, hold on for a second. We've been sharing this information with others so that they can know the month, day, and year they can be debt free, so that they can. Let me get out of this. Let me do this one. Let me stop this. There we go. All right, so that they can know how all of this works. You've never had a class on it, so this is my passion. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here, to get this information out to you so that you can know the difference. So let's see what Dr. Eric Thomas has to say. We're going to pull that up. All right. And let me see here. Play that video, and then we'll be done for today. There we go. All right, folks. See you on Friday.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.